Hi everybody, it's Stephen here with Wisely Living. Today I'm going to show you a simple sequence for a better back. All right, we're going to get going. Just a couple things to keep in mind. One, this is a class for really severe back pain, something that's limiting your daily life. And the second thing is to talk about the props we're going to need. All you need is a chair and a mat. And to be right honest, you probably don't even need the mat. The important things about the chair, you want a low back chair, so we're not going with like a bar stool or anything. And you want to make sure that it's not a chair with wheels, so no office chairs. If you don't know my story, I actually broke T7, T8, and T9 in my spine, and occasionally my back just gets out. So this is the class I come to when I need some relief. All right, let's get going. Posture is just as important as you're sitting as when you're standing. And so often when we get in pain, the posture starts to become compromised and we get in this kind of vicious cycle. Am I moving improperly because I'm in pain? Or am I in pain because I'm moving improperly? So let's go ahead and focus on that. So I want you to scoot all the way to the forward section of your chair. And as you do, that's going to neutralize your pelvis. So it's just going to kind of naturally rock forward, take that round out of your low back. Looking down, we want to make sure that our feet are parallel with one another. We're going to make sure that our knees are stacked over our ankles, and we're going to sit up nice and tall. All right, one thing we want to think about is also our breath. And making this a breath-centered practice is really important. When we hold these habitual patterns in our body that are due to pain, using the breath to kind of breathe in is really helpful. So I want you to really, when I cue the inhale and exhale, try to really focus that breath as you move. So keeping that tall spine, I want you to close your eyes and we're just going to take 3 slow, controlled breaths together. Start by exhaling the air from your lungs, then bring in a slow, controlled breath through your nose, first to your belly, then let those ribs expand. Lastly, bring the breath to your chest, sit nice and tall, and then begin a slow release through your nose. Let's take 2 more breaths in that same manner. When you've released your 3rd breath, I want you to release your chin into your chest. So you're not trying to force your chin down. You're relaxing your neck and shoulders enough that your chin just naturally settles into your chest. Now slowly begin to roll your right ear towards your right shoulder. If you're feeling a good stretch here, stay here. If you'd like to add a little bit of depth, you can drop that left arm off to your side. There's always option to rest your right hand onto the left side of your head. So those are just options. Do what feels best in your body. Take either or neither. I always like to just extend through the opposite arm. Feel that opening through the opposite side of the neck. And there's that breath again. And on your next exhale, I want you to slowly lower your chin back into your chest. Allow yourself a moment to reset. And then we're going to draw the left ear to the left shoulder. Again, taking any option that's going to allow you to settle just a little bit deeper into the posture. Slow, controlled breaths in and out of the nose. Now go ahead and exhale as you lower your chin back into your chest. Inhale, we're going to sit up to that nice tall spine. Followed by another big inhale, we're going to bring those arms high overhead. When you get there, I want you to grab onto your right wrist. Take another deep breath, finding all the length that you can. And as you exhale, take a little dip over to the left. And the important part is here that we're keeping that weight even between the sits bones. We're focused more on opening through the side ribs and finding length and less about bending. Let's inhale and bring that back to the center. And we're going to switch it up. Find your length with your breath. Exhale to deepen the stretch. Just coming into that little bit of space you created there on the right. And we're going to bring that back to the center. And now we're going to come into a small spinal twist. We're going to bring those arms out a little bit wider than your shoulders. And I want you to turn with your whole spine. So as you exhale, you're going to bring your right hand to your left knee, left arm drapes behind the chair, and we're starting that turn at the spine, the waist, the stomach, the chest, the shoulders, the chin, and I even want you to look out the corner of your eye. Let your peripheral vision guide your body around, getting that full spinal twist. Let's inhale and bring it back to center. Arms are overhead. Exhale, change sides. Keep that breath flowing nice and smooth. Let's inhale and bring it back to center. Arms are overhead. Bring the palms together. And exhale as you draw hands to heart center. Roll those shoulders forward, then together and down. Then we're going to go ahead and bring the fingers up to the shoulders, just perching right here. And as you bring in your next breath, I want you to lift your shoulders as high to your ears as you can. Exhale, it's going to be a small round in the back. The shoulders come in, the elbows draw down. Pull the shoulder blades back together, lift up and around. So really this is just simple shoulder shrugs that we're moving through, but I want you to try to activate as much of your back and chest as you can, making exaggerated movements as we roll through. And then we're gonna switch sides. It's a big inhale as we lift those elbows high, and it's an exhale as you draw the shoulder blades down your spine. And I want you to make that movement like you're massaging your spine with your shoulder blades. It's amazing how much tension and tightness you can relieve just by rolling down. One more time up and around. Exhaling as they roll down. And let's take a moment just to kind of shrug it out. Maybe a couple little quarter turns with the head. And then we're gonna bring that right back to a tall spine. Next, we're gonna step the feet out just a little bit wider than the hips, and we're doing this without compromising posture. Feet are still facing each other, knees are still over ankles. We're gonna hold on to the knees. We're gonna inhale to find length in the spine. And as you exhale, I want you to draw your chest forward. And we're gonna take a little time here. Just lengthen through the low back. You're gonna feel when things start to loosen up. And everyone's gonna be a little bit different as far as that's concerned. But when you feel you're ready to start moving, it's a big inhale. You're gonna roll your torso up, out, and around. And as you're making these movements, I want you to make sure we're getting those shoulders incorporated. I'm dipping down one shoulder. As that shoulder peels back, I'm dropping the next one in. Keep making some big rotations, making sure you get some good lateral movement in your spine. There's a lubrication that sits between the vertebrae. And if we only move two directions instead of making sure we get that good lateral movement, it begins to dry up. So let's go ahead and change directions. And one of my favorite things about this particular stretch is you can adjust it for where your back pain is. If it's between your shoulder blades, you can lift a little higher as you go. If it's mid-back, you kind of arch through the mid-back. If you're getting some low back pain, we're gonna kind of slowly sink in, pressing through the sits bones as you bring it up and around. One more time up and around. We're gonna bring that right back to a nice tall spine. For this one, we're gonna go ahead and step the feet in towards each other, sitting up nice and tall again. We're gonna take that big inhale, drawing the arms overhead. As the palms meet, we exhale and bring them to heart center. I want you to twist off to your left, and as you exhale, you're just gonna drop your right elbow down, just wherever it comfortably lands. And if that's not in the cards for you, you're also welcome to open the arms, because if you can make a contact point, it's just gonna allow that rotation to kind of be more fluid as you come around. I'm gonna go ahead and keep palms together. We're gonna bring that back to heart center. Another big inhale as we open the chest, draw the arms overhead. Slow exhale as we bring it down to heart center. This time we're twisting to the right, and we're exhaling as that left elbow comes down. Stay with the breath. We're gonna inhale again, bring it back to center. One more cleansing breath, really open the chest. Slow and controlled as the hands lower to heart center. Then I want you to go ahead and reach out for your left knee. Now as we do this, we're just gonna lift straight up. Now again, being concerned about that posture, we're not gonna round as the knee draws up, which is the tendency. The spine stays tall, the knee draws up. And this is one of those less is more postures. As you continue to draw your knee in, try to relax the hamstrings, try to relax the glutes, because the more you release, the deeper your knee can draw up. Now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna cross. Now this may not be in the cards for you either, crossing your ankle over your knee. And if that doesn't work for you, go ahead and just cross at the ankles. We're gonna come into a little bit of a hip stretch, and you're still gonna get a stretch from here. Preferably here, but just work towards where you can comfortably go. It's not about where you're at, it's about where we're heading. So comfortably challenged is the name of the game here. So keeping that spine tall, let's go ahead and flex the foot so we can protect the joint here. And as you exhale, I want you to start to draw your chest forward. And again, we're keeping that tall spine. So we're not rounding down, The way to really accomplish this is by looking out instead of down. So pick a spot on the floor, maybe about 4 feet in front of you. Pull your nose, pull your gaze forward. And my hand's resting on my knee, but I'm not pushing my knee down. I want to be always really careful with the joints. Let's take one more big inhale as we rise. And we're going to switch it up. Exhale as that right knee comes into your chest. Relaxing and releasing, letting the knee come a little bit closer. And again, we're going to cross over. So either at the knee or the ankle, whichever one works best for you today. Flex, lift, open the chest, and exhale as you keep that tall spine moving toward. Pulling your nose toward the spot on the floor. This is a great hip opener. I swear I could stay here for like the next 5 minutes. All right, let's go ahead and inhale, and we're gonna bring it right back up, stepping down. Maybe roll it out a little bit if that feels good. And now we're gonna do a little seated cat and cow. Cat and cow is traditionally done on the hands and knees, but you can get the same effect by sitting in a chair. So staying at the forward section of the chair, again, knees over ankles, feet hips distance apart. So largely cat and cow is about rocking the pelvis. It's not as much about the chest or the belly. So let's go ahead and take a big inhale, and as you do, start to rock your pelvis forward, direct your gaze up toward the ceiling, relax your jaw, just let your mouth hang open wide here. You can see that my pelvis is completely rocked forward, and that's where we want to stay. That's where you're going to get that low back stretch. And then we're going to slowly transition to cat. So hang on to your knees, and as you exhale, start to round your spine, rock that pelvis back, settle your chin into your chest. And then we're just going to slowly transition back and forth. Let that pelvic tilt initiate each movement. So you notice I'm moving here first, then filling the belly with breath, and lastly guiding my gaze upward. Exhaling as I round the spine and rock the pelvis back. Continue to just flow back and forth between cat and cow. Inhaling in cow, exhaling to cat. Let's take it one more time each direction. We'll bring that spine back to neutral, and then we're gonna go ahead and stand up. Ideally, it's amazing how many times we use the chair. I see people stand up like this all the time. I want you to try to keep those arms up, and it's a simple stand. Little things like that pay big dividends into the future. Let's go ahead and take the chair so the tall part of the chair is facing you. You want to make sure that the legs are still on the mat if you have a mat, and if you're on a slippery floor, make sure that your chair isn't going to slide out. All right, so you're going to turn so you're facing the chair. I want you to go ahead and grab the top 2 corners, and we're going to take a big step back. And why I like this as opposed to doing down dog on the ground is you don't have to worry about compromising the posture because you don't have flexibility in your legs. So we don't want to be a round spine like this. I'd rather see you bend into your knees and bring that spine to neutral, because flexibility often limits people in this posture, and then we end up bringing all that weight into the wrists. So let's just start warming up the legs. We're going to gently guide the hips side to side. I'm lengthening through one leg as I bend into the opposite knee. Slow and controlled, just guiding the hips back and forth, warming up those hamstrings, warming up the glutes, the calves. Even the low back is getting a nice stretch as I'm doing this. And when you're ready, go ahead and slow it back to center. And I want you to bring as much length into your legs as you can without rounding your spine. And when you get there, I want you to go ahead and bring all of the weight to the outside edge of your right foot. Keep your weight rooted there, and you're just going to gently guide your hips over to the left. And trust me, you're going to feel a great stretch from the glutes all the way down to your heels. All right, let's release that back into the center. Now we're going to bring the weight to the outside edge of the left foot. And as you exhale, you're going to guide your hips over to the right. All right, let's bring that back to center again. And I want you to bring a big bend into your knees so your stomach's right up onto your thighs. Start to rock your pelvis forward, tilt your tailbone up. We're hanging onto the chair. This is going to provide some nice traction for your low back. And go ahead and lengthen your legs. And we're going to walk right back up towards the chair. All right, so this is going to conclude the class. And the idea with this is it doesn't necessarily have to be done as a sequence. If there's something that felt really good in your body today, take that home and practice it. If it's the seated cat and cow, and it doesn't have to be done every day, and it doesn't have to be done its entirety, do what feels best in your body and build from there. That's where we're going to start to make progress. And for me, that's really what gets my back to just like let go of that tension, that tightness, that discomfort. For more great content like this, go check out our website, wiselyliving.media.